What's going on, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to another Beta Memoirs, where we like to talk about everything the stock market, crypto markets. Yes, I will be getting into some crypto stuff here shortly, and trying to make the best scalps, the best investments that you possibly can. So if that sounds like something you want to do, remember to subscribe if you haven't done so already, and hit the like button just because you like to hit the like button. But nonetheless, today was quite interesting. We had a lot of different movement today. We weren't so sideways, which was good to see. Some stuff was actually moving. Stuff we don't want to see, like bonds and stuff like that, were not really moving. We did have Mr. Powell today. Mr. Powell, again, reiterated everything he has iterated over the past several times. We do have Biden tonight. I'm recording this at 7:20 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So I believe Biden comes on in another 40 minutes or so. I believe he comes on at 8 o'clock Eastern Standard Time to address the Senate and the House and essentially present his, I think it's a family plan that he's presenting, which in turn, I believe he will be talking about tax plans at that point. And we've also had some fantastic after hours earnings, Apple crushing it, Facebook crushing it, Qualcomm crushing it. All did fantastic. This morning we had Shopify, which was another huge winner, which is good to see. It's good to see big tech holding up. Some of them have taken quite a blow, but ones like Google, Tesla, Microsoft, forward outlook not very good, but as far as earnings, they did very well. And so it's, again, interesting to see some of these sell off. But I think it's only a matter of time. I think today, why particular stocks like Tesla and your Microsofts, I think, are more concerned about what the tax plan has in store. If something is announced tonight that is any different than what's already been announced from last week, we might see a bit of a pullback tomorrow. I think it will be doubtful. I think it will just be reiterated. We'll see how the market takes it. The market was a little scared initially, but then come Friday, it went right back to where it was. So it will be interesting to see. We've been kind of in a holding pattern from this point. The market's really been wanting to rip, I believe, going out of this. We might have a huge May, but being said, you still got to be mindful. You still got to be wary. Still got to manage risk. We have to see. I know this bull market has been eager to keep going up. I believe we are close to it. You can't pinpoint this thing, but ultimately, I think everything is ready. I think everything's still set up. I think there's a lot of stuff kind of being priced in with housing and with the markets in general and assets and crypto and everything that is going on. We have a new asset class in crypto. So as we see PayPal and all these other companies and banks and Square all starting to accept crypto, it's making that slow transition. We're seeing bigger companies take on assets like Tesla and also MicroStrategies taking assets as far as Bitcoin, and people getting paid out in Bitcoin. And so that the market is changing right before our eyes. And what we thought was originally the market, it's not the same. You have to realize the markets always do change, but there are some major dramatic changes going on currently at the moment. So being said, again, earnings, I think we're starting to get some good earnings. I think we're all kind of waiting what happens tonight. Once that initial plan is initiated, I think from this point, we're going to start finding a direction. I believe we will go up. I don't think there's going to be any black swan. There's always a black swan on the deck, but I think ultimately, as far as like news concerns, I think we've been kind of held down a lot through March and a good part of April. But ultimately understand that I think we're ready to rock and roll. I think big tech is ready. Everybody is ready. And we'll see what happens after tonight. But let's go ahead and pull up the charts. As far as SPY, as you can see, SPY has been in a holding pattern. We've been talking about this. It's had some jumpy moments, especially when Powell came on. Obviously, you can see we jumped back and forth. It does look primed to run tomorrow. Again, we have a lot of big tech. You got Apple and Facebook running after hours, so I wouldn't be surprised if we gap up tomorrow. Again, you got Amazon tomorrow. As well, we had Shop this morning. That's also gapped up. It had a huge play on Shop. They totally crushed earnings. Amazon is expected that tomorrow night after the close of bell. So you have that as well. So if Amazon crushes it as well, this market is really going to start ripping. More than likely tomorrow, I still think we see a gap up, especially if nothing big comes out of Biden. We see a gap up tomorrow, do a bit of a pullback, and then run into Friday, do a slight pullback, a normal Friday, take profit Friday, and then next week I think we're just really going to rip. Again, as long as Biden doesn't introduce anything new information tonight, I think we are good. QQQ has been kind of just playing range lately. It's been holding that 200 well. Again, I think tonight, with everything said and done, I think we gap back up tonight. Hopefully break back over this trending line, this trending regression line, and hopefully back to all-time highs. I think it's hard for me not to see that. I mean, there's so much money in the system. One thing you do have to realize is that even though all the money is in the system, it still takes a while for it to really start doing anything, right? Like, we still need people, consumer confidence has to be there. That means that we can't have wild cards in there with tax plans and stuff like that. Like, the market has to be comfortable for the market to make some really big moves. And again, right now, we've really been in we've had some pops, a lot of whipsaw over the past week or two, but to realize that everything is still very bullish, and the bonds have been doing fantastic and holding very well. So we did have that initial scare, that pop, which was pretty much March, and then we've kind of just held the pattern since then. Now, as far as watch list for tomorrow, again, all these, a lot of stuff right now on the daily is looking kind of garbage. Right now, your big tech is kind of where you want to stick with. At least that's where I'm sticking with. I do have some swings. I did take another position in Tesla as far as like a shares position. I did take some calls as well into June. I think Tesla really held that 700 mark floated around that. I believe it tagged down to 695 here today as well. I can actually pull that up here soon, but Facebook again crushed earnings today. I'm looking for continuation on that. Airbnb is starting to get some gas going in it. So I want to keep an eye on Airbnb. Square is at a good daily, and it also has earnings next week. Is that looking good on the daily. Amazon has earnings tomorrow evening, so look for a continuation on that as well. That's ultimately what we're looking for going into tomorrow. There's also some other big earnings. Let me see what else we have tomorrow as well. Also tomorrow we have NIO and Twitter and McDonald's. We have McDonald's, Caterpillar in the morning, and then we have also have Domino's in the morning, and then we have Gilead, Skyworks, Twitter, NIO, and again, Amazon tomorrow after the close. So we do have a lot of big earnings tomorrow. We have a lot of big earnings next week. I think this is ultimately, once tonight finishes up, I think we are ready to go from that point. Tesla in itself, it's been kind of holding the support. I think Tesla has done really well, and I don't really understand why it is selling off. I think people are kind of upset maybe that the Bitcoin sold off or tried to get that earnings run up and it didn't go. So some people are just pulling out at this point. But ultimately, I think we gap up and big tech just starts running. Again, I think the reason we did sell off towards the end of the close is just because of Biden and what he could propose tonight, if there's anything different. But I am looking at Tesla tomorrow. As always, I'm always watching, scalping Tesla. It is definitely my favorite stock. And if you're a scalper, you know why Tesla moves well. And not only that, but it's good for swings as well. So I'm looking at Tesla tomorrow. And we also got Facebook, again, crushed earnings. I almost took a YOLO play on this today and took a cheap call on this because I just because of what Google had done earlier this week. I knew the ads would crush it for Facebook. So definitely want to keep on watch tomorrow. I want to see if where this holds tomorrow, where it pulls back, and follow the continuation on that one. I think it will be great, especially some of the premium might die down a little bit because of earnings have happened. Airbnb is the next one I have. Airbnb is actually starting to rip out, and it's back over this 200. I've almost taken it a couple different times. It did kind of sell off this morning. I didn't grab it here just because I wasn't sure. I was kind of watching everything today. I wasn't sure if we were going to pull back. It kind of looked like it wanted to pull back, but then it was very iffy, and I was more concerned that it might pull back just because of Powell coming on the horn. But again, I think for a longer term swing, I want to actually try to get in a leap in this tomorrow. If it does hold here tomorrow and doesn't gap up overnight, I want to try to get in Airbnb for a longer swing. In my opinion, Square, I did take this shares position and caught this shot up. Now we're kind of playing range again. I think, again, we're just waiting on tomorrow. If this doesn't gap up, I'll look to actually take some shorter term calls in this and possibly ride this into next week. I think it's got a lot of headroom back up, back to, I think we could try to hit 300. We tried to hit 300 the last earnings. I think it's probably possible, especially with the crypto market and everything. I think Square could get there. U is the other one I have. U. It looks like it wants to break out here, this 105 mark. I think once it breaks here, we do have some space to run. U is one that I have really liked. I've just been waiting for it to kind of get above this junk, and it does have earnings coming up on May 11th, so just be aware of that. But ultimately, if we can break above this 106 mark, I think we've really got some room to run here, and that's what I'm ultimately looking at. If we can break 106, I think we're definitely in there for you. And the next one I got is Amazon, one of the biggest ones. I haven't really planned to run up, but Amazon's been kind of really choppy lately before coming into this earnings, but it is doing extremely, extremely well. I did miss it this morning. I was watching other stuff, but it had this nice pop-up today and running into tomorrow. So tomorrow, what I'm really looking at is for it to try to retest, see where this regression line is tomorrow, and kind of see where everything is at, and take it from there. I think again, I'm not going to hold anything overnight tomorrow, but I'm looking for some kind of pullback tomorrow, and then jump in and probably continue pushing up. How much higher are we going to go? We're almost 3,500. Not quite sure. I wouldn't be surprised though if we do, if earnings does push it to over 37 possibly. If they do announce a split, which has been a rumor going around, we could see 4K easy, I believe, in my mind, but definitely have to see what Amazon does from that point. Again, the split would definitely bring a lot of hype leading even into Friday. If that's the case, they do well on earnings and the split, you can definitely see a 4K easy run. So we'll have to see how that one plays out. But ultimately, that's what I got for you guys. So a lot of it's just continuations right now. If everything is good, hopefully you do have some positions. I am currently holding BYND still. I'm looking for the earnings run up for that as well. I am still holding coin, and I took that Tesla position in shares as well as calls today. So looking with those positions to see where we're at and see where we go from this point forward. Again, tonight will tell us a lot with Biden and his plan. So again, remember to manage risk. And as always, take care, guys, and I'll see you guys later.